Hello, my name is Tobias Heiler and I'm one of the founders of BrainBoost. In this webinar, we show you how you can analyze single training sessions and rapidly create a report with it. Also, we will show you how you can export easily this report as a PDF, including some text, some nice graphics, some graphs, and see also a training effect. Was the training going well? Maybe there was in some parts of the training, maybe in some certain games or movies, something that didn't go well, and you can easily see this within our training score. All these functions will be showed in our webinar, and it's quite easy to understand and easy to use to show and create a sweet, nice looking report. Have fun with it.
Yeah, so topic of for today is the new update. If you haven't updated your BrainAssistant or you're not sure, you can open the BrainAssistant and look at the top left, and there it should say 6.0. So please update. If you open it and you have internet connection, top right should then say update available. Please do so. Yeah, what's new with BrainAssistant 6.0? We only have a very limited amount of time, unfortunately, only half an hour. There's more and more to discover, but I will come to that. So today I want to talk about training progress and reports, how we can analyze a training with the new version of the BrainAssistant 6.0. So why do we want to, or what is important for us to track training progress and create reports? Because people have been asking us for quite some time, how can we do this with the BrainAssistant? What is very important for us is we need valid and easy to process information for a trainer, for you guys. We need good information that we report to the client as well. It needs to be understandable and not 30 pages with cryptic stuff nobody understands. It needs to have a pretty looking design. Honestly, it needs to be important that people like to see their data and like to understand it. We need some organization, so we don't want different programs opening up, and we don't want, you know, you need to install a certain thing, and then you have your Word files, etc. We want everything to be in order, and we want to filter the most important things out, and we need teamwork, transferability. When you do supervision, we also do supervision with many of you guys. Then I would show you this as well, how you can share your reports all in the BrainAssistant, so you don't need extra programs on your computer. So one thing is missing though: time. Everybody has a limited amount of time, and everybody who does neurofeedback trainings knows this. You sit with a patient one-on-one, or some people might do auto threshold, I don't know, but you sit with a patient, and during this time you watch the training and all that stuff. But if people then say, you know, how was my training? Can you check? And then we want this to be as time effective as possible. So when you want to create a report, do a rapid report generation, it needs to look pretty, it needs to give certain information, and it needs to be, well, not too time consuming. So with the analysis, some of you have a Nexus device. Some of you have a Nexus 32, but some of you have the Nexus and some of you have other devices. There is a difference. With the Nexus device, we do not get raw EEG at this state. So you need to use the BrainBoost protocols that are automatically installed on your computer, because they all have the scale from 0 to 10. Like if you do a theta, alpha, SMR, high beta training, they need the scale from 0 to 10. This is super important. If you use a different scaling in BioTrace, then the report does not show valid data. So please be aware of that. Only use 0 to 10, the scaling in BioTrace. In the BrainAssistant, you can scale whatever you want. With all other devices, we have more functions, all functions, because we get the raw EEG directly into the BrainAssistant. I will show and compare. Even though we don't get the raw EEG with Nexus devices, we get a very decent report and a lot of information, so don't worry. So what functions do we have? We have, with both devices, an overview I will show you in a second. We can create statistics, very nice looking statistics, and with these we can create a report. When we get a raw EEG, so EEG data, we can implement that in the report as well, and we can even create brain maps within the BrainAssistant. So let's check out. Before I talk too much and show you theoretical slides, let's dive right into the BrainAssistant. So what I did is I started the BrainAssistant and I selected here top left my demo client. And what we now want to do is we want to now check out. So we did a training session for Nexus users. You opened the BioTrace and you opened one of our protocols, did the training, press always top right, press save session, save and close. So you save all the data in the BrainAssistant. And then we want to check out how was the session? How did it go? So we go on demo client and here we see our recordings. Nexus users do not see the green recording because the green recording here on the right side is where we need raw EG. So all people here in the call that use other devices like Neurofeedback Optima, ANT Neuro, they can see these green EG recordings. But Nexus users, they also see this blue neurofeedback session, so the training sessions. And so what we can see is what training did we do. This is also not possible for Nexus users, but the rest is possible. And here I did a month ago a little training, only a couple of minutes. So I did a Focus Master, I did Dragon Bay, and I did a puzzle. And here I did some willingly drifting off. Like on purpose, kind of had my eyes halfway open. I recorded it where I get the raw EG. I will show you the difference. So we now want to analyze. So I press on show details. Now when I show details here on top, it says Neurofeedback Studio is open. And now we get this overview. The bottom left, we see segments, an artifact, segments that are called application and have here a comment, puzzle, focus master, etc., etc. People that already updated to 6.0, they probably noticed something, and some people already emailed me about that. Here's a screenshot. When they start an application, I know it's in German, but still, when they start an application like here, Focus Master Classic, and Mind Media users or BioTrace users don't see the raw EG, they just see the amplitudes here. They see here a bluish background running through. This is very important. This is where we say we want this to be user-friendly, our software. Now, what we implemented in the new BrainAssistant is whenever you start any application, it will automatically, so you open the Media Center, you open the Focus Master, Dragon Bay, will automatically start a segment for your application you just opened that already has here, for example, Focus Master Classic or Media Center, that has a naming, the correct naming for that application. Why? So we can later on, when we want to analyze, see automatically, because when I do a session, I talk to the client, I say, hey, don't move too much, you're creating an artifact, let's start the Media Center, what movie do you want to watch? I would usually forget to mark in the EG, in the recording, now we played this, now we played that. So in the BrainAssistant, automatically, it creates a segment, and when you close an application or the Media Center, it will automatically stop the segment. So now we have segments after a session, and here you see segment eyes closed or artifact. Of course, while there is a training going on, you can also just press start segment, and then the segment starts. You can, try it, and then it says undefined, and then you can say, I want to call it intervention because I'm talking right now. I say, please count from 0 to 10, and then you can just press stop. You can comment, name it, or if you say, I don't like those names, undefined, it should say, I don't know, math, and then I want to give it a pretty color here. It's also fine. You can do this and later on analyze that. Now, so we have a training, we have those segments automatically being created. So what we see here is overview, statistics, EG data and brain map is not possible for BioTrace users, and we see report. So let's dive into statistics. In the overview, we can also even do an FFT analysis, but only when we have the raw EG. So statistics. That's pretty cool. What do we see? What training protocol did we do? We did theta, alpha, and high beta decrease, so inhibit, and SMR increase, so reward. With BioTrace, I think you don't see this, but you know what session, what protocol you did. And now we see here called training effect. The training effect is a very simple tool for you to realize how the average of all segments. Like if you ask, how was the training? Did I reach the goal of theta, alpha, high beta, inhibit, and SMR reward, or didn't I reach that goal? With one simple number, you can see the trend, and if this number is minus, a negative number, it went into the wrong direction or not the direction the training goal was heading to, so in decrease of theta, for example. So negative would be a bad session. So this was a bad session, but a session that didn't go that way we planned to. Now, there can be many reasons for that. I will talk about this later. Here, this was a bad session for me. Why? Let's check out the individual segments, because this is one number overall. This is very simple, and for me, this is too simple if I only rely on that number. But many people say, I just want to see in one glance, how's it going? Now, we can check out the individual segments. This is why it's so such a nice tool that it automatically starts segments. So I see here the application was Focus Master, Dragon Bay, Puzzle, and EC. This was manually created by me, eyes closed. So I just sat there and said, okay, I'm done with all my games, so I'm going to close my eyes for a second. And we see here, Focus Master, negative, so didn't go that way I planned to. Dragon Bay, apparently I like using Xbox controllers, so that seems to be fun. The Puzzle, okay, as you remember, willingly drifting off. So I try to even, go halfway, open my eyes and drifting off. So have a negative effect, because we will check out what alpha and theta did. And eyes closed, extremely negative. Makes sense in the context that I closed my eyes. So probably there was a lot of alpha and theta going on. So here you can see individually how each game works. So this is why these automatically created segments are super cool tools. So you can check out, okay, apparently you like that. Maybe to motivate you, we will continue using that game. Or we say, we kind of need to work on the Focus Master. Up to you. What's the next we can see? We see trends. So we see here this tiny little arrow, and we see it pointing up. So we see over the entire full session, not just the segments, the full session. So including also time between those segments, we see the trend was I had more SMR going up. So here's a positive number. The trend was though alpha extremely going up, high beta and theta extremely going up, so negative numbers. Now, don't worry about me, I'm fine, because let's scroll down. We have graphs. So what do we see in those graphs? Here, first of all, we see undefined. This was my segment I created, so I'm gonna throw it out. We see many different lines. You can play around with that if you want to. We see the total success. I don't want to look at this right now. We see the success rate. I don't need that. And thresholds, I don't want that. I just want the value, SMR, alpha, high beta, theta. And what can I do with it? I want to make it look pretty. So I'm going to change the scaling here a little bit. You can even change the scale to 0 down here to make it look a little prettier. You can change manually, of course. If you said, I started the Focus Master, but then I had a huge discussion going on, what character, etc., you can just here drag and drop it. Or here manually type in a different number, so no problem. You can here change the view a little bit if you want to. And what do we see here? We see puzzle willingly drifting off. There's a lot of alpha going on, okay, and eyes closed, a lot of theta and alpha. So here it makes sense that there's a huge alpha and theta trend going up. And what you can also do is, here we have some more detailed views, here's some more statistics. What you can do is, scrolling down, add panel. If you add a panel, you can then here check out in detail just single segments, like say Dragon Bay. I want to check this out. Then you see different trends. Here, for example, at less theta and alpha, if I check out eyes closed, obviously the trend was going up. So here you can also individually check out stuff, also with the same graph. It looks very smoothened. You can change the smoothing. Obviously, it was just a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, so this is not too much data. Now we have quite some information from very simple, just one number, plus or minus, up to trends, up to individual numbers, average values, and then here's some graphs. And now we want to check out even more. We want to feedback this maybe via a report to the client. So what do we want in a report? We love this graph, right? So keep it very simple, easy to use. It says add to report, success. Kind of like this one here though, add to report. And maybe I like, what did we play around here? I like the Dragon Bay graph. Of course, this is very, not super appealing looking because it's very short. So this doesn't look pretty, but I could also add individual stuff, the Dragon Bay, also here, add to report. So make it even more detailed. Now, the next one is for not relevant for, or not, is not possible with BioTrace because we only get 4 values here. But what I can also do is here in the full session say, okay, I want to display ZZ and show apply. calculating a little bit, and see the trend of everything. I only trained these 4, but I want to see everything else, alpha 1, 2, etc., and say add to report. And I can also now check out, so not possible with BioTrace, I know, but here I can now check out what was going on with other frequency bands, and also say add to report if I like to. So that's a pretty cool function you can do when you get the raw EG. Obviously with the EG data here, we need to do some rescaling here as well. So we see all channels that have been recorded. When I go down here in this bottom line and use my mouse wheel, I'm scrolling my mouse wheel now, we can rescale. Here with my mouse wheel, I can even scroll, and I can jump to different segments. And for example, here I closed my eyes, and this moment of slow activity to fast activity, I like that. I want to capture this, use advanced, and say add to report. So yes, I know with the BioTrace it's not possible, but many people are using different devices as well. And this is possible with the raw EG. What is even possible is I can create my own brain map now. So for the recording, very important, I only did this is why the statistics only show ZZ, but I applied multiple electrodes on the head while training, so 8 in total. But I only trained on ZZ, but I recorded more to kind of check out what was going on somewhere else. And so I can here go on brain map, say add, let's say relative power. I know I'm going very fast, but just to give you an idea, and I can say here, let's check out for, yeah, sure, eyes closed, and use my mouse wheel, okay, just using my mouse wheel, and scroll through this and kind of get an idea. Okay, let's check out here, maybe here, go back a little, theta with eyes closed, frontal right, okay, but alpha in the parietal lobe looks kind of pretty, so there was more. So go here, say add to report. This is something I can talk hours about, so I'm going on purpose rather fast on this function. So I added a couple of things rather fast, and let's create a report now. Go to report, and here we see what I said, add to report, but maybe I like the raw EG go up a little, so I can just press on this button here, or I can drag and drop it. And also here the heat map, I like these heat maps, so let's do this. Now I want to see, does the report look pretty? Go on PDF preview, and voila, here we have a PDF preview. Now I know some people say, yeah, could be better. Of course it can be better. Use plus, say I want basic information and client information. This is why I would recommend, and go on PDF preview. So we have a table, so it's, client name, the trainer. So this is why I would always type in the date of birth. I would always, and here we see the applications we played. Obviously you can delete this if you want to. So this looks all right, but maybe this looks too close to each other. No problem. Let's go. Here I need some white space. Then I want a line, and then I need some white space. PDF preview to refreshen it. Okay, this is nice. Relative power. This isn't pretty. No problem. So in between here we say new page, and we have a new page. Now, obviously this is very quick and dirty, but simply with this, a few clicks, if you use to that, it goes very fast. Now, what can I do? I think this needs something else as well, what cannot be missing on a report. So we can use something else here. We can use tools, and we have a header and a footer. So hello there, I am a header, and this is hello, I am a footer. Now this looks different than this. Obviously I played around in advance and checked everything, so we can here color this in different colors. We can go smaller, bigger, italic, style, whatever I want. Let's say here, right, display a page number and say save. This will be saved for all reports you do, so you don't have to do this with every single report you create. Let's go on report, PDF preview. Header, footer, page number. It looks decent for it, and if you go save and open report, it will save it as a PDF page. So when you're done and you say, okay, this looks nice, you can say save. And now, this is super cool. The next time you open this client and you go in here and you go and show details, the Feedback Studio will open, and it will still have, you just need to press it once, the PDF preview. It will have all this data is saved, and all the segments, if you create new segments, etc. So this is pretty cool. One thing I forgot, obviously, we can here press plus and say text, and we can type in a text. I mean, this is super obvious, but maybe if I skip it, people are going to email me about it. And now a very cool thing, we press save, and then let's say you say, Toby, I want a supervision with you. I did all this analytic thing, and I kind of made it look pretty, but I don't know, is this a good report, or what do you think, or should I add something, or am I missing something? You can here go into your client, go into a session, even do this with a QEEG recording if you have the right hardware for it, and go on these three dots and say export. And if you press export, this will open and it will say .bata. So like a PDF or like a Word document, this is our own BrainAssistant file. And so if you then send this to me, this file, I can go on my main menu, and not just to me. Obviously, here are some people that work together maybe, or you have colleagues in different practices. You can say, oh, today this patient, I have a question for you. You can just send this file and then go on import. And if you press import, you just need to import this .bata, and then it will automatically import also the session, so the reports, the segments, everything you created on your computer. Now you can change this. For example, when I do supervisions, then I go into this and say, oh, okay, here in the EEG data, there was a start segment, and this segment is defined for me as intervention, or I start an artifact as well. Make this here. This is missing, the rest looks fine. Save. Then I can export this edited file, press export, send it to you, and then it will automatically overwrite your older ones. And so you have always the current ones, the current files, and can work with each other. This is a tiny little sneak peek of all the possibilities we have with this new studio, with the new 6.0. Now, let's go back to, because we're running out of time as always. No, not go back to this one. Let's go back to this. My core message to you is keep it simple. What do I mean with this? The report, you see, I can add and add and add things, and sometimes we tend to say, is 2 pages enough? Take a look at this. This is a very essential message. What do we see here? If I print this out and I want to circle some stuff, let's take a look at the first couple of minutes. Continuous alpha increase. You see this? This is already, but then also drop. This is a core message. I don't need to, do tons of EEG stuff, etc. This is one message. What else do we see here? Theta to alpha ratio changes permanently. So not just for one moment. Here, there's increase. Remember, this was when I was playing puzzle, willingly drifting off. More alpha than theta. So here, apparently something happened. And extreme increase. This is super extreme, so check the segment or the context, and the context was I closed my eyes and kept them closed. So this is very simple, because we're talking about how was one session going, not first assessment and not huge test battery, one session. But also you can do a deep dive, take a look at how was individual training effects on simple amplitude data. You can check out the raw EEG with the right hardware and say, okay, this was rather flat. Here blinking artifacts, or probably eyes closed. Oh, here you see this alpha coming up. And obviously with just 8 channels, for example, with the Ego 8, it's a nice hardware. You can create this smaller heat maps. Of course, with our software, you can create the 24 channel heat maps that look super detailed, but also with a few electrodes, you can create a very decent looking heat map. Now, there's also a change I want to share with you. There are new plans, and we're also redoing our website. You can check this out, but there's a simpler way to check this out. We have new plans. So now the Neurofeedback, the BrainAssistant is not just, it all started with applications and games. And more and more people said, can you add more protocols, a library? So we have this. For BioTrace, we already have this automatically installed in your BioTrace. Protocol generator, we have this in our BrainAssistant. I'm not going over this. This can be an own webinar. So you can create very simple, with a few clicks, a super nice protocol. For people that use other software, I know this is a pain to create this and make it look pretty. You can now do analysis, sophisticated analysis and statistics. This was not even for QEEG recordings, what I just showed you. So for people that have a 24 channel hardware like the Ego 24, for example, or the Zido device, we should schedule a call because you can do a lot more with this. You can create rapid reports, as you could just see with a few clicks. You can create the brain maps even with few channels, and you have an export function, as I showed you, to send it to each other, or to also export obviously the PDFs for the reports. So this now we want to give you a chance to combine whatever you need to find your perfect plan. Also, obviously everybody likes discounts. What we do now is we changed that for the second device, you will automatically get a discount, because I know some people say, I'm at that point where I need a second device, but I don't have so many more customers that, you know, I kind of still need to calculate and crunch in my numbers. So you will get a discount the second device, starting with the second device. You will get a combo discount when you combine certain plans. I will show you. And obviously this has been this way before for yearly subscriptions. This is how the new shop looks like. And I say, okay, well, what is all of this? It's actually quite simple, and you can check this out. If you go in your BrainAssistant update and go here top right on Open Shop, and now you can see that the first two is depending on what hardware you use. If you have a hardware that doesn't even have, you know, more than 4 or 8 channels, then you want to do all this report generation, etc., you can use the Essential plan. And you can switch the currency here on the left side, euro to dollar, US dollar. And now you say, okay, and what applications and games do I need? And let's say I want basic. Then here, the bottom left, you see, if you combine these plans, you automatically get a discount. If here you have a second device, you want to add this, you get a discount for the second device. If you do yearly, you get a discount as well. So you can combine essentials with premium, essential with basic, or you go professional and basic, professional and premium. But you see, for example, for professional and premium, standalone, it would be, you know, if I count these together, like 190, but with the discount, it's just 150. So for many people, they say, I want to do some reports, analysis, etc. I use the media center. We put this in basic on purpose because many people use a media center. You're at less than one session or one session of treatment for the entire month. So you can check this out, and you get these slides, obviously, just what I explained to you. You get discount on second devices, individual combinations, etc. Now, as a thank you for attending this webinar, and you already have this enabled, so update to the latest version, to 6.0, and just go on any patient you did a nice session. If you have BioTrace, you need to use our protocols, and press this Show Details button, and then it will open the studio. If it doesn't work, email me. Then I need to email Daniel. So for 4 weeks, I think Daniel and I made it even longer than 4 weeks because some people said they have holidays, etc. You can play around with it, try it out as many channels as you have. So if you have a Zido device or Nexus or whatever, Nexus 32, you can go all in. And also, if you have questions, obviously deeper questions, deep dive questions, come to us. And there's another thing, maybe some people already updated. We have more puzzles. We have more than 40 new puzzles in your puzzle game, and new categories. So there are more animals, they're super cute and fun. So we have more like cars and ships and airplanes and all that stuff people love. And so this is the same way also with the new plan for analytics and for report generation. There will be continuous updates, which brings me to the next webinar. The last webinar in this year will be on November 30th. German one will be one day before. And here I will talk about even more functions, tests, and analysis. Why? Because I just showed you a sneak peek. And also with people that have been with us for a while, with the games, so with basic and premium, you have a plan, you contribute, and you get more and more games. Adding up to that, or new puzzles, also like tiny things. And here, the same with this plan, there will be in 2 or 3 weeks. So before this webinar, even more functions and tests. Some people know reaction tests, Stroop tests. So tests that are not even based on EEG, but also some reaction tests you can use an Xbox controller with. So I will talk about even more tests, how you can do a nice assessment. Thank you, Sam. Sam was already going into the questions. So question from Sam, how many reports can I create per month? Of course, the same philosophy as before. You can create as many reports as you want, with as many clients that you want. There's no limitation when you have that plan. The same as with the applications. You can play as many times as you want to. So the same for the reports. So you can create the reports over and over again. Also exporting it and sending it to somebody else and importing, no extra costs. Yeah, so we want people to really use this and play around with it. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Yeah, you can email if you have additional questions. And yeah, thanks. Yeah, so are there any other questions? But important is get your hands, thank you, Linda. Get your hands dirty and really, really use these tools. You have it all enabled already and you have the new puzzles. And it's not too complicated. Here, it's a few lines, but they can be very powerful if you want to really check out a session and how things were going. And always do the updates. There will be, yeah, a lot of fun. And there will be an update in 2 or 3 weeks with even more functions. We tested in our beta version and it looks very, very promising. Any more questions? I have a question. Values of training effect and trends. What do they refer to? For example, refer to microvolts, or are they just like a percentage? So the trend means overall, let's see if I can get rid of this. So we only have a few lines. The trend means really is the, and this is here, you can see the scale, the microvolts, so the amplitude value. So how much theta. If overall in the session, or then later, if I go here, if I scroll down into the certain segment, if the microvolts in this training session or in the single segment, depending on what you want to view, is going up or down. Here, overall in this entire microvolt, so the absolute value of an amplitude, is it going up or down? We have this possibility to have here single segments, because maybe in between when you have a break and there's a lot of artifacts because of movement, you can always press pause, by the way, in the training screen. But you can still watch the microvolts going up or down, the trend. And yeah, and the training effect, something that also maybe Daniel can say a few things. He's also responsible for all the calculations. The training effect is, what do I want to achieve? Do I want a trend going up or down? And over here in this type full session, here it's just for an application. Was it going, basically it's pretty much based on this trend. Did it go into that direction, yes or no? To have all this put together into one single number. So the training effect, if you get used to it a little bit, this here and this will be interesting for you. And then later, this is only 10 minutes here. If you have a 40-minute session, it will be interesting to see the difference. Oh, take a look at this, and then check out the two different ones here individually and see how was it going in between. And then you can create even more protocols, reports where you just take a look. It will be a very long, if you play a game or watch a movie for 20 minutes, it will be a more detailed view, and then you can have several pages where you set a headline for Focus Master, headline for movie, write a comment what movie you watched, etc. Yeah, and also, Valerie, we can also schedule a one-on-one, of course, or everybody else. It's not just for you, because I know creating reports, everybody likes that one panic button, create everything automatically and print out 30 pages. We're also working on that kind of thing, but obviously it should be pretty and understandable. And here the scale is, and the bottom scale obviously is time. It doesn't even say minutes and seconds, but this is time and this is microvolts. Yes, this webinar was recorded and will be uploaded. Okay. Daniel, yeah, the trend is the mathematical trend of the microvolts of every frequency band, and the training effect is then taken the trend and desired direction, so inhibit or reward, into account of all available frequency ranges and bars. I just read it out loud because this will be recorded, but only my screen. So yes, Julie, there's a recording and we will upload it. Also send everybody who everybody who registered for this webinar. We will send as a follow-up, just as you're used to, the PDF slides. We will send the YouTube link, and then we will send the invite for the next webinar on November 30th in English and 29th in German. Same time, and it will also be open, so if you know somebody who didn't register or who can't register, then also send them the link for the next webinar as soon as we send it to you. So, more questions. One thing, sorry, for people that have, I'll keep it super short, for people that have BioTrace and say, I wish I could do an assessment, a test, because next time I will talk about that. I don't have this EEG data, so I cannot create brain maps. I'm trying to work on a little trick, so you can only do with BioTrace a training and not an EEG recording, so you cannot do this. But what we should work on is that you do a training, but you don't even play a game or something. You create a protocol with only scale 0 to 10, and then, for example, place electrodes on FZ and PZ, and then you can only display 4 things. So you take a look at theta, alpha 1, alpha 2, and high beta, or whatever you like, and then you can at least, as an fake assessment, then use this training to create a report for a first assessment, because with next webinar you will see there's also other tests that you can implement into this report, in this rapid report making. So we will keep you updated on this as well, because we know that people have also Nexus devices and want to use them as much as possible. So same with the games, it all started with 1 game, and here continuous update on that plan. Yeah, I know, yeah, Daniel, we worked for this quite some time, and so now there's a lot of speed and momentum into this. So the next update is coming in a couple of weeks with a lot of new functions and tests and very cool things. Are new games coming? Good question. We did not forget about people liking games. So with these applications here, you have a ton of games already, but there is a new game coming, and it will be related to a race. That's as much as I can say. It will be coming this year, and it will be a game where you will be using a controller with. But for today, so yes, this year there will be a new game, and for today, do the update, you have new puzzles available, which is also a pretty cool feature, and we tested it, and there's, yeah, thank you, Sam. There's a new, pretty cool new puzzles that people like. We played it quite a lot for a couple of weeks. Yeah. So yeah, racing game coming up. Yeah, I know a lot of info. I'm talking very fast, but there will be, there will be time to play around. So for some people, have a good day. For other people, have a good night. And then see you end of November.